Hi, I'm attorney Ben Schwartz, and today we're going to talk about buying a new car. I'm not a car salesman. I'm not a car purchaser, not willingly anyways. I hate buying new cars. I hate the whole process. But as an attorney, as a personal injury attorney who handles the vast majority of what I handle tend to be car accident, personal injury, and wrongful death cases. As a personal injury attorney, I want to talk about buying a new car because there are so many car accident cases that we see, and when we see people who've been injured in an accident, we look back at what went wrong, and oftentimes what went wrong was something that went wrong when they bought the car. And so I want to talk about three different types of situations and three things you need to do to protect yourself and protect your family if you're buying a new car. The first is, if you're buying a new car and it's new to you, but it's really a used car, you need to take that car to your mechanic and have your mechanic check out that car. And if you call around to the different service stations in your area and tell them, look, I'm going to be buying a new car, it's going to be used, but it's new to me, I want you to look it over and make sure there's nothing mechanically wrong with it, make sure the engine's not blown, make sure that it doesn't need thousands of dollars in repairs in order to be roadworthy. They should be able to give you a price and tell you for $100 or for $200, we can check out that car and we can go through a punch list and advise you what it needs and what it doesn't need. And we can tell you if the tires have enough tread depth on them. We can tell you if the exhaust system is getting ready to have holes in the exhaust manifold. We can tell you if it needs X, Y, and Z, or if it's going to be a good, reliable used car for you. If you buy a used car and you have not had it inspected by your own mechanic, shame on you. And many people buy used cars and they rely on the used car salesman and the used car dealership to quote unquote do the right thing and put them in a safe, reliable car. The job of the used car dealership is to sell the car. The job of the used car dealership is not to protect you or your family. That's your job. So get your vehicle inspected at a service station before you buy it, before you sign on the dotted line, and make sure it's safe. The second thing is get proper insurance coverage. Oftentimes, people go to a dealership, they find the car, they test drive it, they're ready to buy, they go into the sales office, they sign all the paperwork. The salesman says, by the way, we need you to call your insurance company, have the car added to your policy. And people make a real quick phone call, hey, I'm just adding this car, here's the VIN number. At that point, that should not be a rushed phone call. That should be a phone call where you take your time and you make sure that before you drive off the lot with that car, you have proper insurance coverage on the automobile. And when I say proper insurance coverage, I really mean basically two things. One is personal injury protection, or PIP. In some states, it's called no fault. In some states, it's called MedPay. It's the insurance that pays your medical expenses and your lost wages after a car accident. Max it out. Buy as much as you reasonably can afford. The second insurance coverage is called uninsured motorist, or coverage. It's what pays you for your personal injuries if you're hit by an uninsured driver, if you're involved in a hit and run accident, or if you're hit by someone who's only carrying very minimal insurance limits and your injury claim is worth more than the available coverage on the at-fault driver's policy. You need to max out your your uninsured motorist policy. Buy as much as you can reasonably afford. The third thing I want to say is, if you're buying a new or used car, whether it's new or new to you, you need to decide if you're going to buy gap coverage. If you're buying a car and you're financing all or most of the purchase price of that car, and so you're going to drive the car off the lot and it's going to quickly depreciate in value because it's no longer on a salesman's floor, on a saleswoman's floor, you're going to have a situation where you're quote unquote upside down on the car. Meaning, If you buy a car for $10,000, you take a loan for $10,000 from a bank or credit, I was going to say credit bureau, but not credit bureau, from a bank or a lender, and you pay the dealership the $10,000. When you drive off the lot with that car, it's not worth $10,000 anymore. Now it's worth $9,000. It had been, it had been cleaned up, it had been detailed, it had been, buffed and polished. It had had some mechanical stuff done to it. It was in the greatest condition when it was on the lot, but when you drive off the lot, now it's a used car. And so the value of the car depreciates. Now you owe $10,000 on a $9,000 car. What happens if you're in an accident and the car is totaled? The insurance company for the at-fault driver, or your insurance company, is going to pay you the fair market value of the car. They're going to pay $9,000. They're not paying what you paid for it. They're paying fair market value on the day of the crash. And so you're going to be in a situation where you owe the bank the difference between the fair market value and what the amount of the loan was. So if you buy the car for $10,000, finance it for $10,000, drive off the lot and get in an accident, and the insurance company totals it and pays you $9,000, you personally are responsible for the other $1,000. You can't get it from the at-fault driver. It's coming out of your pocket. Gap insurance is there to pay the difference between the fair market value and the amount of the loan, the amount of the note. Buy gap insurance if it's likely to be a gap. Buy it when you buy the car. It's not expensive. You can pay for it as part of the sale price of the car. In other words, you can get financing to cover the gap insurance, and it'll protect you so that if your car is totaled in an accident, you're not going to be in a situation where you've got to come out of pocket thousands of dollars to pay off a note so that you can get back to zero to go buy another car and get in debt again. I'm attorney Ben Schwartz. Hopefully these 3 things will help somebody out in the community. Share this video with your friends and family who might be looking to buy a new or used car sometime soon. Give us comments. Let us know what you think about this video. If you have tips for people who are getting ready to buy a car, leave them in the comments on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Schwartz and Schwartz. If you'd like to email me with your thoughts and opinions or with questions for future videos, my email address is ben.schwartz@schwartzandschwartz.com.